Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this week's episode of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and my God, do we have breaking news? The Xbox gaming gods have blessed us once again, Retri, with some powerful movements within Xbox. First of
Mhm.
all, I get a chance to sit down with someone that I consider to be an extended part of my family. Love the work that he's doing in the community. Love the work that he does with Web Dave each and every Sunday. Retri, welcome
Yes,
back,
brother.
kind sir.
I mean, what a day, right? Like I thought we were talking about just one thing, and now we're talking about another thing too.
Yep.
I was telling Boom in the green room. I'm like, I take the dogs out. Nothing's happening. I'm all set up on Twitter. I got everything ready to go. I take the dogs out. I come back and I see this post about Xbox leadership and everything's changed, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm like, this ain't right. So I look up, nope, this is for real, dude. Like, what is happening? Like, I stepped up for 5 minutes. What the hell? So yeah, good to be here, Boom. I appreciate the invite. I'll try to get here when I can. Life is busy lately, but this is exciting, man. Like, I love. You could feel it, right? You could feel it after the
Yeah.
ABK thing.
Mhm.
Dude, the marketing, like I could feel the push is coming, dude. I don't know what's going on, but Xbox marketing, like the whole new team and everything that's happening, like things are moving, dude. Like it's an exciting time to be, somebody who's in the Xbox ecosystem. So excited to be here. Excited to talk about today's topics: Call of Duty, new management and whatnot going on in Xbox. So it's gonna be fun, man. Looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
absolutely. I just want to do a quick shout out to, of course, my brother from another, D Diaz 219 in the chat. He's listening. He's always here, brother.
Yes.
Thank you. I hope you're doing well. Look, at the end of the day, folks, and again, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to troll. I'm not trying to poke fingers or prod or anything. But can we ask some questions here, Retri? I mean, we're going to get
Mhm.
specifically into Sarah Bond taking over the entirety of Xbox, of XGS. She is now running the ship. Matt Booty, who's no slouch, and was quoted in saying, "We're going to outspend Sony out of business." I
Mhm.
mean, this is the guy that now is taking over.
Peach is the gangster. You
Peaches,
heard it here first, man.
Peaches, the
That dude,
gangster.
we
Yes.
thought he was a gentle soul. He is not. Behind the scenes, he will shank you. So yeah, which is exactly what I wanted out of the leadership at Xbox. So it's good to see that these guys behind the scenes are ready to cut some throats. So
Well,
that's what we need.
he's taking over for Bethesda, and I can almost guarantee
Crazy.
you what we won't hear is why are one set of games exclusive and the other ones are not. That's what we're not going to hear. What we're
Yeah.
going to see is Xbox take marketing to the next level, which they've been doing in the last week or so. It's just been on. It's marketing for Xbox. Retri has been on a level that I don't think we have witnessed since the Xbox 360 era, and that's being fair.
Mm-hmm.
It has been on
Yeah.
they have been on a tear. They are here, there, and everywhere.
And everywhere.
It's
Got him
unbelievable.
on the Sphere. Got the
Yeah,
show that happened yesterday with a third party. Got him partnering back up with Monster again. Like they're just like I see him now. I'm seeing him on buses again in the UK. Like, dude,
yeah.
so, like I think we might have been onto something. Boom, when we're all sitting here going, maybe it's the ABK thing, and they're just kind of like chilling.
They're
And
just kind
after
of
it
sitting
comes
back on
down,
their hands
the
a bit.
hammer,
And
as you just did in Halo, comes down, right? And I think that's exactly what we're seeing right now. The hammer is coming down. So, uh,
indeed, indeed.
yeah,
Well, I'm going to say this. And what I started when I did my monologue wasn't because I was an evil, genius or anything. It's far from that. But what we are seeing, folks, are two behemoths going in the opposite direction. Sony is fumbling and bumbling. They are unfortunately letting go and firing loads of people. There has been a ton of layoffs. What I can hope for, especially when you look at someone like Connie Booth, who appeared to be discarded as if she didn't and wasn't a part of some of their biggest releases. I hope that Microsoft looks to see. I mean, maybe she's gonna, after being fired, she's like, "Yeah, you know what? I was
Yeah, she might be out for good.
done." And maybe her team wants to. They'll move on to other places. But Sony is in a tailspin. They are identityless, if that's even a word. They are a wounded animal. And I actually had some people kind of pushing back on my title for the show, and I don't really think that I'm pushing too far out of the boundaries here. I simply said Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War will be an Xbox Game Pass next year. I think that's a pretty known fact. And I
Yep.
also added that is when PlayStation players are going to leave. And I'm here to tell you, folks, if you think that the normies have the same mindset as us, the diehards, you are sadly mistaken. You are not
Nope.
in the room. They
Yeah.
will sell their systems. And something else? You know what they sell almost every year, verbatim, almost like clockwork? When a new Call of Duty comes out, they are selling the old Call of Duty to buy the new one. And usually it's a disc version. They're not entrenched in the digital market as much as some people like to give them credit for. There are casuals for a reason. They still go to Target and Walmart and GameStop to buy their physical discs, and they trade them in. That's just what they do. So if you don't think that there's going to be a paradigm shift in what Call of Duty is and who's playing Call of Duty on what platform, you are mistaken. But, Retri, with that said, let's bring up the story. And of course, this comes to us of the way of Tom Warren of The Verge, senior editor at TheVerge.com. He has reported moments ago, folks, like almost maybe 15, 20 minutes ago before we went live, that Microsoft is doing a big Xbox and marketing reorg today. Matt Booty is taking over responsibilities for ZeniMax, Bethesda, and Sarah Bond is now Xbox president in charge of the Xbox platform. And unfortunately, Microsoft CMO Chris Capicella is departing the company. So, of course, we're sad for Chris, even though I don't know who he is. But anytime that you see someone leave, you hope that they're going to bigger and better pastures. But let's talk Sarah Bond and Matt Booty. And I got to tell you, what a pair of powerhouse C-level executives that have been given major position raises and responsibilities. And you know something, Retri? No better two people to take over and continue to change the face of Xbox for the better than Sarah Bond and Matt Booty. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Boom. I mean, I think, like we said, like maybe who knows? We've been saying for a while we think Sarah Bond's being groomed to take over Phil's position eventually, and this is just kind of maybe another step in that direction. Of course, Booty is ahead of her in regards to that, so who knows? It could be Booty, but Booty's getting up there in age as well. So I think eventually is going to be new fresh blood, and that new fresh blood stepping into Phil's position is probably going to be Sarah. I think we all kind of want it. We see her energy. She's great. She's got an awesome presence on camera. I don't know if she's had any formal training, but her and Phil are so good at PR. It's not even funny. Like, they're probably, in my opinion, two of the best out of besides like Aaron Greenberg and stuff like that. Just being on camera, like you feel their energy. You can kind of sense that they're not just another CEO type of white collar person that's just full of crap. When they, when they say it, you believe it. You know what I mean? And Sarah Bond is great in the leadership role. I saw the picture of her and Lulu and some other lady, I can't remember who it was, together, and it was just a cool feeling to see, the power of women coming into Xbox and just kind of taking over there a little bit. But I'm excited. I love, after learning about Matt Booty, what happened with the FTC and the behind the scenes stuff, and just learning who he really is, the guy, that he's a killer behind the scenes. That's what I want. that is what I want to be in control of Xbox and ZeniMax and Bethesda. I mean, it's a great pick. It's a great pick, and it's good to see these people, move up, and some other people like Chris stepping out of his marketing role after 32 years, stepping down graciously, not being fired for disagreeing with with gas games and going full bore on 11 gas games, which is working out great for PlayStation right now. We can see how well that's working. It's a sad tale what's going on the PlayStation side. You don't do that to someone who put in 34 years. And then you see what Microsoft does and why they're one of the best companies. You can hate them or not. You can hate them, love them, whatever. They're big tech. Yeah, I get it. But they're still one of the best companies to work for. And they've been working towards that goal since the 90s when they had such a bad reputation.
10? You know what's
it's been a long time. I don't know the span of how long they've actually been in the top 10, but it's been a hot minute. It's been a while, right? So maybe someone in chat can look that up. But
Time did a story about a month ago marking Microsoft as the best place in their opinion. They awarded Microsoft the best place of all the companies to work for. Number one. That was Time Magazine. Now, if you're familiar with Glassdoor, and if you're into business, you probably know what the Glassdoor is. They have been consistently in the top 10 on the Glassdoor, and that's a big deal. Now, the woman you're talking about that was in that picture with Lulu and Sarah, her name is Kari Perez. I had a chance to meet Kari last year, and wow, she is dynamite, and she's incredibly welcoming. I got a chance to that's when I was able to meet Phil Spencer. I met her, and she's phenomenal woman as well.
Do you remember what her position? I mean, I guess she's out of Activision, right? Like, do you remember what her position was by any chance?
No, she's out of. I recognize her. I'm almost positive she is out of Microsoft, not Activision.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure of it. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, cool.
I don't remember her title per se. I do remember
it's too many people, Boom. I mean, we just got another 15,000 people under. I can't keep up with all these positions. I literally have a sheet full of like who the heck is who because trying to know who the heck we're talking about half the time. But yeah, cool to know that Miss Perez was in there too. I don't know what position she has. I don't see her on this higher up list, but it's oh, there she is. Okay, I see her, general manager. She's GM of communications. Okay, so she's up there. Go. So she's up there.
Yeah, very, very, very welcoming woman. I got a chance to talk with her for a bit. It was nice. It was like I said, it was a surreal experience for me. Again, I'm small potatoes in the grander scheme of content creation. The fact that Microsoft has recognized the channel is a really big freaking deal. But
by the way, someone in chat made a funny and said we're going to the same barber. I see you.
Maybe. I have a mohawk. You really can't see it. It's a little piece of hair.
Give Boom a little credit. He's got some hair. Not me with my receding hairline.
Listen, I'm 53, folks. I don't know what to tell you. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
This is a great way to open up today's show. This is really, really great news. But as interesting as Sarah Bond taking over and being in charge of Xbox Game Studios, as she should, and what she's done up until now has been nothing short of some of the best work we've ever seen. A lot of the stuff that comes in the Game Pass, people don't understand this, is thanks to her. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think she's still? Do you think she's still gonna have? Do you think her role for that specifically is gonna be maybe less hands off now? Like maybe that the Game Pass side will get passed to someone else. I know she's software and hardware still, and a bunch of other things. Like the amount of work she's doing, I was like reading all the stuff she has to do. I was like, dude, are you kidding me? Like that sounds like 4 people's jobs.
Busy.
Yeah,
I'm curious. You know what's crazy when you say that? She still interacts with us.
I know. Like,
Like I can say this.
Phil was playing Candy Crush like today, I think. Like,
Yeah.
how do you find the time to do all this stuff, Phil? I don't know, man.
I
He's a
have
different
a hard
type of
time
guy.
keeping up having 5 shows. I couldn't imagine being a C-level executive having to and still play games. I just can't figure it out.
Punty brought up a great point, and this is why I love Sarah Bond. And under pressure, she's amazing. He says that not just that, Retri, but she was represented herself in court and was amazing and mind blowing. I agree. Out of everybody, that's one thing. Like I listened to the whole 8 hours and like more than 30 hours actually of these court proceedings, and in my opinion, Sarah Bond did the best out of everybody, even better than Phil, in my opinion. Like she was like stone cold. She like had an answer for everything. She seems super relaxed. Like that's who you want. That's who you want at the helm, in my opinion.
Very confident. Yes. I thought that, if we were to go back to those court proceedings with ABK, if there is one person that is the highlight, that is the standout, even beyond Satya Nadella, who went up there and he gave the answers that you needed to give, it was Sarah Bond. I think honestly, if you needed a preview card of, well, who do you want taking over for Phil when he's done, I think that was it right there for her. But look, at the end of the day, congratulations to Sarah Bond. Congratulations to Matt Booty. Again, we're sorry about Chris having to, he's stepping down after 30 plus years, and it's understandable. At least he wasn't fired like the way PlayStation has been doing it. And I'm not making fun of it, folks. Understand that we don't poke fun at anyone losing their job, because the real world is first of all, right now, folks, and I don't think I need to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Even if you do have a job, there are folks having a real hard time getting everything done, meaning paying the bills, getting food on the table, paying for your kids' school or their clothes. So make no mistake here. We no jest whatsoever about anyone losing your job. And if you do, and you tag me to it, I'm gonna block the shit out of you, because I don't mess around like that. This is real life. You want to talk about video games and console wars? That's fine, but we're never gonna make fun of anyone. I don't care what platform they're on, lose their job. And I am going to tell you this: Sony, and this is for the diehard Sony fans. And I know they're not listening to the show, but I'm going to talk to them anyway. You see what they're doing to real world people, how they're treating. Did you hear? With the whole David Jaffe thing, how they escorted Sean Layden out of the building via security. Like a piece of garbage.
How do you do that?
That is the platform that you knuckleheads are swearing is the greatest thing since sliced bread because they made God of War. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be out there saying, hey, this is not good.
Good games treat their people like crap, treat their consumers worse. Like, I just don't understand how people are like okay with the way Sony treats everybody, essentially. Like they're a
disgusting company. Ultimately, they're a disgusting company, and shame on you for supporting them.
I mean, we see Bob. We see Bobby on this list too, but we know Bobby's gone.
He's gone,
and they could have kept him till his contract was up in April of next year. They ain't doing that. No. Feels like January 1st. It's like poof, a little kick, kick to the booty. Maybe Matt Booty will give him the kick to the booty. I don't know, but he's gone, and there'll be some healing and some mending and some fixing going on here in ABK. Because that's what these guys need. Like, these employees deserve better, and finally they're gonna get better. Hopefully there won't be too many layoffs. We'll see what happens on the layoff side.
What's interesting? It's funny you should say that, because I kind of want to segue or transition into what happened just 2 days ago, Retri. And you made mention of it. We saw Phil. We saw Sarah. We saw a bunch of Matt. We saw Matt Booty. We saw a bunch of people. We saw Mike Ybarra. Everyone was taking pictures. The mood seemed very light, very, very excited. People were smiling. There was no shortage of smiles welcoming in Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and the team from Xbox into Blizzard. And obviously we saw all the smiles and the pictures that were taken during their visits to Activision and during their visits to King.
Yep.
There is a seismic change happening at a publisher that was riddled with controversy, especially when it came with the
Yeah.
way that they treated their employees. So of course people are going to get excited, and people are smiling, and people are taking pictures. And I kind of want to just talk about that for a second. When you look at what's going to ultimately happen, they're going to be folded. And I say Activision, even though it's probably going to remain, a solo publisher, as if they've
Yeah.
done for years, and that's not a surprise. But the culture is going to change, and the way that their employees are spoken about and spoken to are going to change. And I think that for me is very exciting, because one of the things that we consistently forget about is that human beings actually make these games, and
Right.
nobody wants to work anywhere where you're treated like shit. Sorry, it's nobody wants to work there. And now we're seeing all these excited smiles with all these pictures. What was your takeaway from this? Because I don't think it's just for PR. I think people are
No,
genuinely excited about the potential of change coming to a publisher that didn't treat people really good.
I think I'm gonna be fair here. From the Xbox side, it's definitely some PR, but from the Activision employee side, I don't think it's PR. I've dealt with this myself. We our company got bought out twice, so I actually have been, I've dealt with 3 different sets of people, and every time the new people bought us and came in, and I was like, oh, thank God, it can't be any worse. And it actually was. And then the third time happened, and it was worse again. Sometimes the grass isn't greener, but these people know the grass is greener. You don't get these accolades
Yep.
for a long time for Microsoft if you're a crappy place to work. I'm not saying every single sector and every single place and every single studio at Xbox and every little business that they do, or big business, is all perfect and great to work at. There's problems everywhere. There's gonna be bad eggs. There always is. But I have absolutely no doubt in my mind, because I've been where those people are, that when those new guys come in, it's a breath of fresh air. Like, oh, thank God. I might be able to actually express my issue with my crappy manager, or express any issues, and my words might actually be heard for once in my life, versus me getting passed on, tapped on the butt and sent on my way. So I think for the employees, this is a big deal, and it should be. And on the other side too, Xbox has said they're not going to, they're going to let unions thrive in the business if they want to. And I think that probably will happen. I think you're probably going to see more of that happen. We'll see. Some people are saying that probably won't, because Microsoft's such a great place to work. Maybe they won't, shake the tree too much. I don't know. Usually, as a union guy, once the union smells blood, they're not going to stop. They're going to try to expand out. But good on the employees. Let's get Bobby out of there. Let's get everyone involved in letting Bobby stay where he was. The F out of there. Because he wasn't the only bad cat. Make no mistake. That board let that effer stay. They voted to keep him after all this crap happened. So hopefully they're not going to get transitioned to any jobs at Microsoft. I hope they all go away, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, for on the employee side, dude, you got to be so happy. You see how it was crazy watching the far away picture too, of just the number of people that were there. I don't know how many people were there, but holy crap, it was insane. It was pure insanity there. Yeah, it was a lot. So
yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, exciting times are happening for Xbox, their employees, and more importantly, us, the consumer. Right? We got to put ourselves on Front Street, because obviously we're the consumer first. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm going to always rah from Xbox, and when you see Sarah get a promotion, or Phil, I'm going to rah that, because you know what? I'm a fan, right? I enjoy the work that they do, and ultimately we win as fans of the brand, but more importantly as consumers. Whereas when you look at the other side of the pond, it's not really that way. Sony consistently rakes their players, and I'm one of them, over the coals, which is why I don't buy anything in there anymore. I will buy a first party game, but that's about it. They'll get my $70, but that's all they're getting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be playing Spider-Man. I'm waiting until all the damn bugs are gone, whenever that happens. But yeah, I mean, look, like I run a Game Pass channel. I talk almost every podcast I'm on has to do with Xbox, but I don't hate Sony devs. I don't hate Sony games. I hate SIE. I don't like the way they treat their employees. Like someone mentioned in the comments, it's a Japanese company, and this type of thing happens a lot. I understand that. Like, I'm definitely not ignorant of that fact. You're right. I agree with that sentiment. But SIE is also, based in the US too. So, it's time. It's 2023. Get your S together, right? So treat your people right. Like, it's just crazy. Like, listening to Jaffe and him say like how much respect he had for that for Connie.
Connie Booth. Yeah.
And
what's
34
crazy
years.
is that
Can you imagine?
34 years, yeah, with the company,
Like,
and responsible, Retri, for some of their biggest IPs ever. Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of, it feels like a what have you done for me lately? This is the direction we're moving. Oh, you don't like it? There's the door. And I don't know. It sounds like some of her team either got fired or left on their own accord, because they couldn't believe that maybe their boss and mentor of 34 years got treated the way she did. Yep. So I could see that happening. I would be one of those people like this. When I'd be one of those stand up people, I go, you do what? I'm done. Screw it.
Yeah.
Because if you're willing to do it to her, you're willing to do it shaft to anybody, right? So, good on Microsoft with the good PR and showing the industry, even if you're in third place, how it should be done on the human level. That's more important than anything.
Absolutely, and I love that you framed it that way, because the human factor seems to be last on the list for many people, and I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
I think that we all want what we want, right? That's the way life is. But you can't forget.
There's a lot of mentality of like, I want it now too. Yeah. Like sometimes we got to have a little bit of patience. I don't know about y'all, but my back catalog is ridiculous. So sometimes when I actually hear that thing is delayed, I'm actually like, thank God.
You're cheering it on. You're like, yeah,
I'm cheering it on. Yeah, you get a better result, right? You only have one time for a first impression. So let these guys cook. We know games take longer and they cost more money than ever. So I'm okay with delays, but hopefully my internet's okay right now. I'm not gonna lie. I am downloading Dead Space right now. I'm super freaking excited to play it. So hopefully,
dude, it's so good. I got halfway done, and it's phenomenal. What a remake! What a monster remake, and scary as all hell. I'm not even gonna front.
That game, is scary.
Now, before I get to the super chats and we get to the second half of the show, which of course we're talking about Black Ops Gulf War, which of course I think it's widely known that it is going to be in Game Pass whenever it releases next year. This is why I said a couple of shows that the doomsday clock for PlayStation starts November 10th, 2023, because that's the last Call of Duty that's not going to be in Xbox Game Pass. And I'm sorry to say, I think Sony is they're in a bit of a pickle. But I mean, forget all the internal shit that's going on with them. They're just disgusting. But at the end of the day, they don't have answers. They just don't have answers to the onslaught of games that are already been released this year, next year, and 2025 is looking to be even more bonkers than next year, which is crazy to think about, right? But I do, thanks to Tom Warren, once again. I mean, Tom is that dude. I don't know if that guy even sleeps, to be honest with you. He actually has posted moments ago, folks, Phil Spencer's letter to the employees at Microsoft regarding the big changes. Now, I cannot read everything. It is very long. I am going to read through the first 3 paragraphs because it's pretty telling. So this is what it has to say, folks. And again, more breaking news thanks to Tom Warren of TheVerge.com. And Phil Spencer had this to say, folks. It's been a whirlwind 2 weeks since we closed our deal with Activision, Blizzard, and King. an acquisition that will materially impact our current and future success. Since then, I've been on tour visiting the teams, and it's been awesome to see the ambition of the games they're making, the depth of the talent among the teams, and their excitement to be part of Microsoft with a creative culture that aligns with our own. Microsoft Gaming is on a multi-year journey to reach players where they are on the devices they choose to play, and our strategy is working. We have 13 $1 billion plus franchises in our portfolio. We just set new records for engagement in Xbox Game Pass. As our business continues to grow, it's important that we structure ourselves to sustain that momentum with effective clarity and accountability across gaming. In that spirit, we are making the following organizational changes effective immediately. And this is what it has to say. This is one of the last paragraph I'm going to read. Now, what I'm going to do, folks, if you want to read this for yourself, I'm going to include it in the show notes so you can go just click on it and read through it. It's a great story by Tom Warren. And the last paragraph says this: great games are fundamental to everything that we do. We believe that an expanded gaming content organization, one that enables Xbox Game Studios and ZeniMax development studios to collaborate effectively together, will empower those world-class studios to do their best work in growing our portfolio of games that players love. Matt Booty will lead this expanded organization as president, game content and studios. And like I said, I mean, I could really, I mean, we know that Sarah's taking over now. Okay, you know what? Let me just read the paragraph that has Sarah in it. He goes on to say this, folks: with our innovative devices, products, services, and our global community, Xbox is the primary way we connect games and their creators with players around the world. These experiences are as foundational as the games themselves, whether they're our first-party games or third-party games. To manage the platform of today and build the platform of tomorrow, we are bringing together the teams that will make this possible. Sarah Bond will lead this team as president of Xbox, bringing together devices, player and creator experiences, platform engineering, strategy, business planning, data and analysis, and business development.
That's what I was talking about earlier. It was like, what is she not doing? It's like, Jesus, that's crazy. That is crazy, Boom.
I mean, let's talk about it. About, and again, like, folks, there's at least another 7 paragraphs. You'd be here until tomorrow. Even though I don't mind podcasting, this is normally a 70-minute program. Don't fret though, because we're going to continue this conversation tomorrow on Breakfast with Boom at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So do not miss that. But Retri, again, very, very powerful words from Phil Spencer. I mean, it really does look like it's a rose garden, and not even just red roses. They're all gold leaf that's going on at Xbox. Let's talk about it, man. Come on.
Yeah, I think one of the things that stands out the most to me it's we hear about it all the time. Like, we see, and I'm not trying to like dig on PlayStation. Maybe I am. But when we see things like Spider-Man sold 2-3 million or whatever, it sounds great. But then you look at like Forza Horizon 5, like way past like 30 million people who've played the game. Like, Game Pass, hate to say it, it's changed the game. It's changed the metrics. It's not just about consoles anymore.
It's engagement.
I am one of those people. It's engagement, right? It's getting those subscribers. That matters the most to Xbox. And I think they're going to push Game Pass forward, and that's going to be their number one thing for many, many, many years to come. That's why I made my entire channel, because I saw what they were doing. I liked what they were doing. Yep. I could have chose to make Sony content. I used to make Sony content, but I was like, you know what? I think this is the future. I think Game Pass and subscription services are going to be the thing in the future. I think Sony will break. I think they'll bend the knee. I think they're going to do it. But to hear them say we have 13 $1 billion franchises in their portfolio is insane. That is absolutely ludicrous.
Right. Isn't that
13
crazy?
of those. Like, for anyone who says Xbox has no games, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you dumb?
I can say something that I'm going to
what
abbreviate.
What are you talking about?
And I'll put it to this. I'm not even going to say it. Like it's outside of my comfort zone about cursing on the air. So I'm not going to say it.
Type it in privately. I'll say it for you.
It's anyone that tells you that it's SAD, and if you know what SAD means, you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I won't say it on the air because, like I said, this is PG-13. But you know what? I'm just so tired of it. And now Microsoft is they're running the gambit, folks. And I think what's scary, I think ultimately what's scary for the competitors and exciting for the consumers, which is us. Remember, we're consumers. We should be consumers first every time we have this conversation. Not half the time, not 3/4 of the time. You got to think of yourself as, yes, you're a fan. Great, awesome. But you're a consumer. And you got to think of yourself as a consumer first, and where your dollar, which is very hard to make in 2023, is going to go the furthest. And I'm telling you, folks, no one is doing it better. And you said something absolutely astounding. Xbox has changed the game, and it's going to force other the publishers to want to have to do it. Why do you think there's a Ubisoft Plus? Why do you think there's an EA Play? Because Microsoft did something that made other people say, yo, I don't even, how are we going to compete with this? You compete by putting your games in a service that people pay a monthly fee for, and they have access to all of this content. Sony hasn't figured it out, and I don't know if they ever will. And Nintendo's just going to keep marching to their own drum, as we know that they've done for decades. But please continue.
Right. I mean, to be fair, on the Sony side, they've said themselves this isn't probably going to work. There's a reason they're going gas, and they're pushing really hard on the gas, because they can't spend $200 to $300 million every single year on maybe you get 2 AAA games out of Sony. Guess what? Game Pass does. They make that their entire budget for Sony in a quarter. Like that. That's just Game Pass that makes that. You know what I mean? And that's on the low end. That's at $10 a month. If you count, and we know the majority of Game Pass subscribers are Game Pass Ultimate subscribers. So the people who tell you that the math ain't mathin' can't do arithmetic. I don't know. Maybe they grew up with Common Core. I don't know what their problem is, but the math is there. We know it's profitable. This is the way. This is the way forward. This is how publishing for Xbox and Xbox as a whole can make 4 AAA games in a year and not sweat it. They can spend $200 to $300 million without a problem for each game 4 times a year and not break a sweat. Guess who can't do that? Sony. If they could, they wouldn't be pivoting. I'm just saying, like, the writing's on the wall. People are just ignoring numbers, and you can't do that. This is business, right? Like, Xbox isn't stupid. This is also why they got King, because they know where the money is, and it's mobile. You know, hopefully what we'll see is the mobile money will transfer over a little bit and help out some of these other studios and allow Xbox to stay weird and take chances, because that's what we want. We want them to take chances, so you get the hi-fi rushes and you get these crazy games. But make no mistake, this business model works. This business model works. That's why Netflix, even though they're in debt, is still here today. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm excited. Someone said in the chat that the $13 billion franchises, that it's actually 17. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but either way,
wow.
It's impressive.
I'll put it this way: whether it's 13 or whether it's 17, think about this for a second. Microsoft currently owns, and we'll keep it simple until I can confirm the other four $1 billion franchises, because I have 13. That's what I have in front of me. That's what the story says. So that's what we'll use for context.
Yeah, that's what we'll go with for now.
Think about that for a second, folks. Xbox, or Microsoft, however you want to put it, has 13 $1 billion franchises that are considered first party. Think about that for a second. And you know what's even more insane, Retri? Of those 13 $1 billion franchises, or $1 billion plus franchises, anything that can be in Xbox Game Pass will be in Game Pass for under $17 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, are we serious here? Like, I'll tell you right now, if you are on Team Blue, I'm sorry. The grass is way greener here. And I'm not telling PlayStation players to go sell their consoles. Nope. Don't do that. I support all three, and I can do it. And you know what? I'm a retired guy. I put myself in the spotlight all the time. I have a great pension, and I talk about it because I'm as transparent as glass. My pension is really good. I worked super, super hard and a shit ton of overtime to get it to where it's at. But it has a ceiling, and obviously in 2023, everything is expensive. From eggs to gas to rent to everything, to your mortgage, to your medical, whatever it is, we're all paying more. And I'm telling you, having Xbox Game Pass allows me, as a content creator who has a great source of income, and one that I earned, and I broke my ass to get it, folks. I wasn't given anything. And it allows me to be a part of the gaming conversation on Xbox, because I never have to worry about buying the game, because most of the games I play on Xbox are in Game Pass. And the ones that aren't, like a RoboCop, I purchased. And I could purchase it, right? Alan Wake is another one that I would love for it to be in Game Pass. As a matter of fact,
a lot of people thought that was coming. I was like, no, guys, it's not coming.
But you know what? It's fine.
Epic, come on now.
I bought it on Xbox, just like I bought Spider-Man.
I'm definitely buying that game.
But it's getting killer reviews. PS, by the way. And again, think about that for a second. Dead Space today in Game Pass, and at the end of the week, Alan Wake, and next week to open up the week, it's RoboCop. What?
Yeah.
What? It's just amazing. What an amazing year. But with that said, folks, we have 600 people here, 600 plus people here. If you're finding the channel for the first time, I do humbly request that you consider subscribing to the channel. We are on the hunt, folks, to 14K, and we're getting close. We're just at the 13.5 and change. We're trying to get to that 13.6. Please, we're getting close. Subscribe. I do this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 5 different programs, 5 different panels, all great content. You know what we don't sell you? Hate. We don't say you hate, and we don't hate monger to get your like, your sub, or your or your click. We don't do that here. We don't sell it because we don't like that kind of behavior. Let's get to the super chats, and there's been quite a few of them. So let me just catch up on those. The first one of the day comes to our generous friend, Double X Wolverine. Double X. He drops a $2 super chat and says, "What's going on with Phil?" I don't know. I'm perplexed by that.
I think he's probably just saying because Sarah is the president. Phil's still the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. Like nothing's really changing for Phil, except maybe he does this much less work. I don't know. But I think that's what that is referring to.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But he has good people under him for sure. Galvestron drops a very generous $5 super chat and says Microsoft should sponsor. This is a actually really super cool idea. He says Microsoft should sponsor the next SpaceX launch and have Game Pass and Starfield on the ship. Elon loves Diablo, so maybe he'll give a discount. I'm just gonna say, maybe Microsoft should reach out to Galvestron and hire this guy for marketing, because I'm gonna tell you this right now.
That's my buddy right there. He's a smart dude.
Okay. If you were to launch the next SpaceX rocket, which is always a big to do, right? Everyone's always covering it, right? And you have a Game Pass logo, and even worse, or even better, I'm sorry, not just worse, better, a Starfield logo on the freaking ship.
Dude, that
I don't even know what to say other than
would be
someone hire this man. hire this person.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I mean, can you imagine you have that on the rocket and you're up? Okay, here's the campaign. You have the Xbox logo on the rocket. It goes up. While you're in space, you simultaneously have the Las Vegas Sphere do the same exact thing at the same time, and you get the footage from the astronauts in space looking down at the sphere. So you got, you got it everywhere, baby. From
Galvestron and him are sign them both up, and they deserve six figures. By the way, let's go.
Sure. I mean, I'll take 5 figures, but that's fine.
Listen, take the 6, damn it.
I'm not greedy.
I love it. El Monte in the chat drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Microsoft Microsoft might have bailed them out just like they bailed out Apple. I don't know, man. He's talking about bailing out Sony. I don't necessarily think they need a bailout. I just think they need proper leadership. I think that the issue with Sony, folks, isn't that first of all, they're a terrible company because they treat their people, and someone actually put a super chat in here that explains what that culture does in Japan, and then we'll get to that in a second. The problem with Sony is that they were in the lead for so long that they forgot what it was to have competition,
to actually compete. Right, exactly.
Right. They literally sat on their hands and they said, well, this is working, right? People are telling us on the socials they'll pay $90 for a game, so we're going to charge them for everything. We're going to give them a paperclip for their $550 device that was only $500 just before they gave the Slim, and they're going to sell you $30 for to stand it upwards. Ultimately the fans are the ones responsible for Sony's behavior, because they're telling Sony we'll pay more because we're idiots. And I'm sorry, that's what you are. If you're going to tell a company, instead of charging me 70, charge me 90 for the next God of War, you're a moron. Sorry,
I don't
not to be a dick or anything, but
pay more for greatness. Okay,
yeah,
dumb. Like, what are you talking about? Stop it! You're making my games cost more. Stop it!
It's just dumb.
Like, that's
just
ridiculous. You know what's crazy too? Like, talking about like the marketing on Xbox. We just had a show. We're getting another one, guys. It's called BlizzCon, and now that's under Xbox. Like, I think that's crazy. Maybe we'll see the new Odyssey game from them too. Like, it's nuts. Like, how many shows I think we're going to be seeing throughout a year from Xbox. We saw the new format that they were talking about yesterday, which I enjoyed. We knew most of the games that were going to be there, so nothing like totally blew me away, but some of the games are actually pretty cool that I saw yesterday. But that's what I want more of. What I've been asking Xbox to do, and I'm seeing them do it, is to remind people, to literally remind them of what is coming out on the roadmap, even if it's like 6 months to a year down the road. Just remind them, have a little show. Doesn't have to be, little digital show. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like yesterday's show was a nice, sweet little package. Do more of that. Just do more of that. You know what I mean? Get everyone excited. There was a lot of people.
I watched yesterday's show twice, Retri. The first time I walked away and I gave it a 7.
That's exactly where I was.
And then I watched it again. And I saw some of the responses. I watched like for instance, Pong Soul. He picked 2 particular games that he was so excited for. And I said, I wasn't excited for those games, but I'm excited for him. I said, you know what? At the end of the day, this is a solid 8, in my opinion. So that's what I wanted walking away with. I did the exact same thing. Boom. I tried to change my answer on that one too. I actually told Dave, because Dave was asking me like, what would you rate it? I was like 7. I'm like, I already knew. Then I watched it again and I moved up to an 8 as well. And a game you're probably talking about is one that me and
him are both excited about Pong. That's Manor Lords. So
Yes,
I think,
that's
that is coming to PC Game Pass. It's the only new game that was announced yesterday. Unfortunately, not coming to console yet, but it is coming to console though. I got confirmation on that for sure. So it is coming. It's just we don't know exactly when. So yeah, there was a lot of good games like Spirit of the North. I don't know if anyone ever played that Fox game back in the day. It was an indie, but they're making it a part 2. It was a gorgeous game. That looks cool. I'm looking forward to like Still Wakes from the Deep. That's in Game Pass. That one was it Icaro or something like that? Icaro Will Not Die. I thought that looked great.
Really good. That looked fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, that looked fantastic.
Yeah, there was a shooter called The Finals that looks pretty. I mean, dude, there's a lot. The Ark Survival Ascended.
Yes, a lot of people digging that.
And obviously Alan Wake too, which I will definitely be buying, and Like a Dragon. So I think it was a pretty damn solid show. Dragons of Hinterberg, you know. Yeah. There was a variety, you know what I mean? That's what I like about Xbox and Game Pass too. It's just different flavors, right? I don't want the same damn thing, rinse and repeat every single time. And like I've said a million times, I'll keep saying this. Gun to head, if I get a choice between Spider-Man, you know, a 190 meta game, or 580 something meta games, I'm picking the 580 something. I'm picking the 5 games. I just am every time. Every time I'm doing that.
You have to just on,
you know,
on the sheer amount. Yep.
Yeah. If I have a choice, if I can only do one or the other as a consumer, I'm looking at Xbox because I get more bang for my buck.
More for your money. You more for your buck. Yeah, absolutely. Let me continue real quick. Kia Walker, who's been a channel member for 28 months, says this: "All hail the president of Xbox, Sarah Bond. Indeed, hail the queen for sure." Dan Rivera drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Gonna read Phil's memo to the Xbox team." Yeah, I think he was talking about. Yeah, I did read some of it. It's too much. It's literally way longer. I'll add it so if you want to read it yourself, brother, you can check it out. He says Tom Warren posted it on Twitter. Also, Alan Wake 2 tomorrow. Yeah, can't wait. That looks so freaking good. Spider-Man's being put down for Alan Wake because I only have 2 hands and 2 eyes, and it's Halloween. I'm going to play a horror game. The black. Amen. Oh no, hold on a sec. Fantas Archer drops a very generous $2 super chat and he says this: "If Microsoft got Connie Booth, she could run Game Pass. I mean, it's possible, but I think that I don't know. Maybe they reach out to her. I don't know if I think they have a lot of powerful leaders in place, but it wouldn't be bad to potentially bring her in and see what she thinks, because she's according to, I don't know who she is, but according to David Jaffe, she's like a powerhouse. Or was a powerhouse at PlayStation.
She produced most of their best games.
Their best games all produced by her. Yeah, crazy.
See you later. Get the hell out of here.
Get out of here. Yeah. It's gross. The Black Viking, generous friend of the channel, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "You guys realize we have another Xbox showcase event next week, BlizzCon, the 3rd and 4th of November. We eaten, indeed." And supposedly, according to Tim Dog, Mr. Xbot himself, and I know Tim personally, we talk all the time, he said it in a tweet yesterday, Retri, expect something big.
Tim. Thanks for being vague, Tim.
If I was a betting kind of a guy, you know what? I think it's already been laid up, right? I think Diablo 4 gets announced for Game Pass. They just launched a new season. It has a lot of microtransactions. People are going to be spending their money on their outfits and stuff. You dropped it in the Game Pass, even though they said, we're not doing anything until I don't know. It's a wish. I bought it. I'm already in the bag, folks. But I think it would be pretty cool. We shall see.
I'm saying it's gonna be Odyssey. I think it's Blizzard's new game, to be perfectly honest with you. That's what I think is probably gonna drop, because Jez has said, we've heard some rumors that it's a lot further along than.
Could you imagine a new IP?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, yeah, that's what I want. So
I like it. Highlander 001 drops in a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Afternoon, Boom and Retri." Afternoon to you, sir. He says, "You have to understand that this is the Japanese work culture. This is how
Yeah.
99% of Japanese companies are run. Japanese companies have the highest suicide rate for a reason. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
I agree
sad.
with Highlander here.
He's 100% correct in saying so. It's very unfortunate. Hopefully, we don't see anybody take their lives because that's it's especially around these times. We're getting close to the holiday, and you know what? Shout out to Sirius XM, which I listen to, and Katie Babs. She's out. She's one of the disc jockeys there. She's always talking about the suicide prevention hotline. So I'm going to make mention it on this show, and we're going to start doing that on a regular basis for the holidays because people sometimes need it. And if you are someone that is struggling with mental health and you need someone to talk to, my DMs are always open. So by all means,
I was gonna say, DM me, man.
Yeah, DM
wouldn't
me.
Wouldn't be the first time. I've had people in the gaming
too.
community specifically. There is a lot of people depressed in the gaming community specifically.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly so. Like once I started doing this, I was like, wow, this, I'm not alone. We got some problems. So yeah, absolutely reach out, DM, man.
1,000%. But the hotline that you can call that is totally free and it's available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year is 988. You get very, very easy to remember. It is the suicide prevention hotline. And again, shout out to Katie Babs over at Sirius for consistently every day drilling that into a listener like myself who likes the work she does on Octane, which is what a channel that Mrs. Boom and I listen to. And it's every day 988. Well, now I'm gonna pay it forward and saying if you have, being that was that super chat specifically made mention of it, I felt it was necessary to do. The Black Viking drops an additional $5 super chat, and he says Phil should hire Connie Booth as head of quality control for Xbox's bigger IPs.
Yes,
dude, someone hired this man,
dude. I actually was talking to Black Viking. I'm going to say this right now, live on air. Black Viking, you said you're going to start podcasting somewhere around December, so now I'm holding you to it. I love this idea. This is probably the best one I've heard for Connie yet.
When you are ready, sir. We'll get you on the show. Retro will get you on his show. We'll get the people to know who you are, and we'll help promote your show. So by all means,
great dude on Twitter, man.
Yeah,
I got a lot of content from the Black Viking. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
man.
Especially that rated X content that was up there. Pretty bad stuff on Spider-Man. I didn't know there was 69 in Spider-Man.
Hilarious.
There is. Shout out to you, Black Viking. Giggity08 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Christopher, he's talking about Dring, who blocked me because he's a coward.
I do not a fan of that guy.
Yeah, he's a piece. He's a POS.
Yeah, don't like him.
Dude. It says Christopher Dring tweeted that the UK's Spider-Man numbers were accidentally
oopsie
counted twice.
Like I said, the math ain't mathing, right?
and it's no longer the biggest PlayStation 5 launch of the year. That goes to Hogwarts
baby.
We are talking about that tomorrow, folks. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Here's a preview. The media is as biased and corrupt as they effing come because no one makes that mistake. I'm sorry. We accidentally doubled up the numbers.
Come on, man.
Like, are we 5? Are we? Don't the 1 block, 2 block, 3 block, right? I mean, I don't understand what's happening here. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. It's going to be a little scandalous. Get ready. I'm preparing the show as we speak. Drawn TJ drops a very generous $2 super chat and it agrees. I think that they should pick up Connie Booth. Indeed. Now, okay. We have a ton more super chats, but I want to allow for Retri because I got to take a quick call. I make a quick call, so I'm gonna be back in literally 2 minutes, Retri. But I want you to take the lead on what I have put down here, and I don't think people understand I call it, and I think you've called it this the Game Pass effect, and maybe the Game Pass effect isn't currently leading the conversation in gaming. I don't know why it wouldn't be when you consider what they've released just this year. 2023 for Game Pass has been nothing short of ridiculous. I want to talk about what happens. Okay, so let me just frame this for you.
Sure.
We learned, thanks to Satya Nadella, that when Starfield was released, they had
Yep.
the biggest influx in Xbox Game Pass subscriptions in the service's history since it launched in summer of 2017. The largest, most amount of
Yep.
people subscribed on the 6th when Starfield was available.
Yep.
Okay?
In
Now,
one single day, the
one
most amount
single
they've
day.
ever got from.
Right.
Yep.
So now here's where the frame comes in, and I want you to go crazy on this. Call of Duty Black Ops is, regardless of what you think of Modern Warfare and all the other ones, Black Ops is by far the most popular of all of the Call of Duty franchises. If Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War, which is the tentative name, is what a lot of YouTubers are calling it, so I went with it. Right, I watched about 8 videos. Everyone's calling it that, so I figured I'll jump on the bandwagon. When that launches into Xbox Game Pass next year, Retri, it is going to potentially 5 times what Starfield has done this year. Let's talk about that for a hot second.
Yeah, and it will, because it's COD. You can't stop. You cannot stop the COD train. You can't do it. It's look. The last time, with MW2, we were told, I'm boycotting it. I'm not touching it. That's going to be an Xbox property. Blah 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 blah. And then it set records and made the most amount of money it's ever made in 10 days. So we know they're full of it, right? So but I believe, just like I said, because in the beginning of Starfield, I was a little worried. I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna move units, until I saw the 40-minute show of Starfield, and I said, I changed my mind. This is definitely going to move units and get Game Pass subscribers, and it did, the most ever. That's not too surprising. It's Bethesda RPG first in 25 years. So, but Call of Duty is it's a monster. It's a juggernaut. I know people are, oh, did we really want Modern Warfare 3? Sledgehammer making that game. Yeah, I want it, and I'm going to play it. I can't help it. Every time a new Call of Duty comes out, I don't like that it's out every year, but I hit that purchase button. We know in the court document that was published during Microsoft versus the FTC and all that BS, that it was revealed that Sony's losing the contract after this year. It means we get fresh marketing is set to commence with Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War, I guess is what we're going with. And that's based off of Peter Radcliffe, that is a British soldier that's supposedly in the game, and he kind of tipped his hat. So I definitely think it's Gulf War. It's definitely gonna move. It's gonna move units. It's going to make the PlayStation guys look to the right and to the left and start thinking, maybe I shouldn't drop $70 for that. Maybe you can get a Series S, and just get the subscription. PlayStation consoles have seen the benefit of Call of Duty with maps, weapons, modes, even freaking modes with time exclusivity. But those days are done. And Xbox has said there's going to be parity across the board, except for Nintendo. It's probably, they're not really going to get real parity, at least not in the frames and the
they're going to do it to the
resolution.
Best of the system's
they're going to do it as
though.
best that they possibly can. We'll see what the next Nintendo Switch 2 actually ends up being. But this is definitely going to move the needle. Like, if Starfield moved, if Starfield was a shift, this is going to be a seismic shift. And I'm not saying people are going to necessarily sell their PlayStations. What we've been saying for a while is they'll probably just get another console. Mm-hmm. This gives you enough breathing room, right? 2020 came out. This gives you enough breathing room to have saved up to get a Series X, the next one, the digital one or whatever, or the old school one. But I believe there's going to be millions of people that are going to move from PlayStation to Xbox and subscribe. I absolutely expect that to happen. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. We saw it happen in one day that happened with Starfield. It's definitely going to happen with COD. You can, whether you like COD or not, maybe you're sick and tired of it, you hate it, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you personally think. The masses speak for us. The mass audience says, I want more of it. And they buy it every single year. As PlayStation guys would know, it's always in their top 3 every single year, forever. So yeah, I expect this definitely to move the needle. Game Pass numbers are going to go through the roof. They're trying to, and who knows, Boom, like you've also been talking about the whole mobile side of things. Does that get tied in? Is that going to be like a $5 a month service for Game Pass? I think it will eventually once they get their own store in there. I think that'll happen. Yeah. And then you got Call of Duty
store. The
mobile.
rumor
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
That's a fantastic point. The rumor is that they're building their own mobile store as we speak.
Absolutely.
Right? That's going to happen.
Even if the laws don't, like, they're going to do that. Look, it's Microsoft. They do R&D. They spend hundreds of millions on stuff you've never heard of and you'll never see. They do this every year. They do this sort of stuff. So you can bet your ass they're building this store and probably have for a while because they expect the laws to change. They're changing the EU. They expect hopefully the FTC will bend the knee and stop the duopoly that is happening with Apple and Google. And I expect that to happen. It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight because Apple don't want that. But I think eventually it will happen, and that's gonna move the needle, man. Like that's a huge deal for Xbox. They're gonna be rolling in the dough once that happens. So, but on the console side and the PC side, where we're seeing the most amount of growth for Xbox, I mean, for Game Pass, sorry. I mean, the last numbers we got was it went up 150% year over year. So yep. I expect that to continue. I expect that to absolutely happen with Call of Duty, and it's Black Ops, dude. Like that's
the pinnacle
my
of
favorite.
Call of Duty. Honestly, when you look,
I mean, I love Treyarch. So
yeah, it is the next one in line. It is going to sell gangbusters. I like in the number wise, it'd be the 6th one in the series.
No.
Would be considered, because I saw some people talking about, Black Ops 6. And again, I watched a ton of content creators that are calling it Gulf War, which is supposedly the next one. It's fine. Maybe that's not the name, but for argument purposes or show purposes, that's what I'm calling it here.
I think it will. I think it will be. It might not be that exact name, but it's certainly going to be around the Gulf War. And sorry if you can hear that right now. I got someone like mowing. Can you guys hear that? We probably can. No. Oh, okay, good. I guess
the software that we're using has a noise canceling.
Oh, right. I don't know how good it is because he's right outside my window. It's pretty loud,
dude. It's crazy. It's like they matched it up because literally right outside my window they're mowing. I'm like,
oh, really? Yeah, I get this. Yeah, this guy's working hard for his money. That's for sure.
That's such as life.
But yeah, I think it's definitely we know like an actor. I can't remember his name. Basically kind of leaked this out already. Like he had the whole full gear, so so they could get his likeness for the character Peter Radcliffe, which is the British soldier. So
yes,
and he was I mean, the guy wrote a book about the Gulf War. It's the Gulf War. Whether it's called the Gulf War, we don't know, but it's definitely gonna be the Gulf War. So I'm looking forward to that game. I love Black Ops is probably my favorite like set of Call of Duty games. I play most of them, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm a guy. Activision Blizzard was a good pickup for me personally because it was gonna save me money. Yeah, I've played a lot of Overwatch. Now you get free skins with Overwatch and stuff like that through Blizzard. I'll play all Blizzard games. I will play Activision games. Hopefully they'll allow them to get weird and make some other stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and COD will 100%. Without a doubt, this shouldn't really be an argument. Will definitely move the needle for Game Pass. It will be massive. It will definitely top out. It's definitely going to top out Starfield. I have no doubt,
dude. I think it's going to potentially. I'm going to throw some fours. I don't know why my footage froze. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah, hold on.
We had the volume on that, by the way. Boom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're back. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why my computer did an update while we were doing it. Thankfully, I didn't lose the
Thanks, Windows.
thing. Thanks, Windows. It's just unbelievable. But look, at the end of the day, folks, Call of Duty under the wing of Xbox Game Studios as first party is huge. And again, I personally don't think that you're going to see 100% of the people move over. But I mean, let's call a spade, folks. If you can go over, and I think next year is going to be the real telling year for when Xbox Game Pass is going to hit its stride, because again, this is all subject to change, but I'm going to paint the picture for you. and for Xbox first party of what Game Pass looks like. Whether it opens or closes the year, you're going to have Avowed and Hellblade bookend 2024. In the middle of that, you're going to have Towerborn. And I'm telling you right now, based
game looks
on
awesome.
what Jez Corden has said and his excitement for it and what I've seen, I'm telling you right now, it's potentially going to be one of those games that come out and it's going to envelop the entire community. It's going to be in the Game of the Year conversation because it's going to be that spectacular. Okay. So those are 3 first party. Now I'm gonna throw a tremendous prediction in there. I think Clockwork Revolution is the 4th. That's just my stab at it.
I was literally gonna say Clockwork.
Okay, and now you have their big 4. That's the 1 per quarter. But you also have to imagine there's going to be some day-and-date Game Pass drops. There's going to be some second-party deals. There's going to be some indie exclusives in there, but you also got to now add, Retri, to the end of the year, Call of Duty, Black Ops, Gulf War. I mean, if that does not move the needle to Game Pass, and you as a Sony player are like, yeah, I'll just spend the $70, so I'm supporting the devs. Understand that you're helping Microsoft make with their next acquisition. Every time on a PlayStation player buys a gun or an outfit or a helmet or a wacky thing you could put on your character, you're literally funding Xbox's first party games, and you're also going to fund the next acquisition. Think about that, PlayStation players. I'm just saying it's food for thought, and it's comical because some of these PlayStation players.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's thank you, appreciate that. It's hilarious. But listen, let me catch up on the super chats, and then we will do outros, folks. Hopefully, you enjoyed the show enough to hit the like button, of course, and more importantly, obviously, consider subscribing. That would be really dope. Dean Rivera drops an additional $5 super chat and says, "Did you see that Spider-Man 2 was counted twice in the UK? It failed to sell more than part 1, and it actually lower than previous reported this week." Yeah, again, we're going to talk about this tomorrow, Dean. And again, more evidence, folks, if you actually needed it, that the media is corrupt as F. Who makes that mistake? Oh, we accidentally counted it twice. Okay, sure.
It's almost like they wanted to help them make more sales. Everyone likes a winner, so people kind of dogpile on and then it kind of like feeds itself. Yeah. So yeah, it's a little sus on that one.
Raven, Baller Forever Gaming drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Raven made Wolverine X-Men Origins maybe a remaster. That would be pretty dope. Marvel is open to working with Xbox. That's a confirmed fact. So I don't know, like, for instance, for me personally, I'd love to see X-Men Legends remade. I'd love to see the 2 Spider-Man games by Beanox. Before we even knew what a Spider-Verse was, they were doing
just
it.
Opened up a brand new studio too. I think somewhere in Canada. A beautiful studio.
Yeah, beautiful campus. Yeah. So Beanox did 2 amazing, I no pun intended, amazing Spider-Man games that were phenomenal. And I'd love to see those remade. So who knows? I think that's
Transformers, maybe Prototype.
Prototype.
I want my Prototype. That's what I want.
I want them to remake that Resident Evil 2 style. Give us the first one, introduce us to the character again, and give us a Resident Evil 2 quality style remake. Not like Resident 2, but the quality. And now we're talking. Michael Mooney dropped a very generous £5 super chat and says, "I think Phil takes over Activision Blizzard starting 2024. Well, right now, Bobby reports to Phil. He's still there, and he's leaving by end of year. He's probably on vacation. He's probably not making any decisions at all. But anything that's done for Activision Blizzard King is you have to go through Phil Spencer or Phil Spender. People like to call him that. Jacob Novick drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Twitter apparently thinks females as lead are bad. Well, it's the internet, and they're stupid. I don't know. Anyone that's against a female lead, whether that be in business or a protagonist or antagonist, you're just dumb. Sorry.
And it's not a new thing either. So it's weird how people almost pretend like that's like a new thing. It's been around forever. So yeah.
Let's see. Fantas Archer drops a very generous $5 super chat and says tinfoil hat, future, and Microsoft/Nintendo partnership. I could see that. The rumored second all digital Switch 2 will actually be a new Xbox handheld. Imagine that. I mean, I think Microsoft is working on a handheld right now for their own stuff. Honestly, I really do. I think you're going to get an actual Xbox handheld at some point.
I hope so,
because that would be pretty dope. Avacap72 says no love for Matt Booty's promotion. Oh no, we talked about it, brother. Yeah, Matt Booty, congratulations. We're super happy for him, and I think he's going to bring some massive change in a positive way. Not that Bethesda was a house that was burning. Bethesda was running fine, but they lost their leader who wanted to retire. That's fine, and now they have someone that is gonna bring the same kind of tenacity he did while he was in charge of Xbox Game Studios over to Bethesda. I think it's a win-win for everyone. Dreadful Sean drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, just having MGS at the show with more in-engine visuals before PlayStation makes that show at least a 6. It was a solid 7.5 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I mean, listen, I gave it an 8. I'm very happy with a solid 8. Dean Rivera drops an additional $2 super chat and says, Dead Space remake out on Game Pass today. Thanks, so brother. Yeah, that's Retry's literally downloading it.
I'm downloading it right now. It's going very slow though.
Pip 1006 drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, off topic, but have you seen the amazing Lucas call out Spider-Man 2 as a buggy mess? You know what, dude? Someone actually, I don't know who the amazing Lucas is. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to check it out because someone says it's on a level of epic.
It's a good video.
I
saved it. Don't worry, you'll be seeing it this Sunday because I will be playing that one.
Is it the guy wearing a Spider-Man shirt?
Yeah, I think it was a black. Yeah, it was a black one. I think with the white.
Then I know who he is. Yeah, I didn't know that he was the amazing Lucas, but I watched it twice.
I think that's him. If that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
And lastly, Drawn TJ drops a very generous additional $5 super chat and says, "Hey, they should bring Forge mode to Call of Duty. Let us make maps." You're not the first one to say that. That's pretty powerful. But listen, Retry, we've been here an hour and 15. Normally, this is we're around the time when we usually close this down. Again, don't forget tomorrow morning we're gonna go ham on these crooked media MFs about reporting double numbers for Spider-Man to give Sony the W, only to be taken away once again. I mean, so play Spider-Man if you like. It's an 8.5 out of me. I'm really enjoying it. Outside of the effing system restarts and the bugs that I've had, it's very, very frustrating. Now, it's not rampant, but when you're into the game and all you want to do is play and the screen goes black and it goes, report a problem, it sucks. And that's happened to me multiple times. I don't like it.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I'm seeing a lot of people have that just in the last 24 hours. It's weird. It's like a thing
supposedly there's
a
patch coming. It's I don't know. We'll see. But look, Retry, let's sell your brand, brother. Talk about Game Pass daily on YouTube, where we can help you get to 1K, where they can reach out to you on social media and potentially strike up a conversation, and where you will be this Sunday evening.
Yeah, I got a lot of, I'll put it in the chat. If you guys want to subscribe there, it'd be super, super helpful. I make Game Pass content, obviously, and I'm kind of talking about more Xbox general news as well on there. A lot of exciting stuff coming up. I'll be on another podcast in a few hours, actually, with C Money, King David. I think Mav's there. I'm pretty sure Web Dave is there. Sorry if I'm forgetting anyone else. We're going to be talking about all the stuff that's going on. But we have a special this Saturday at 1 p.m. on Dave's channel for the Gamers Council. We have a special Halloween episode that we're doing.
Nice.
So we're talking all Halloween games, TV shows, movies. It's all going to be all pulp culture stuff for the scary stuff. So if you guys want to subscribe there, I just put that in the chat as well. And of course, we have our show on Sunday coming up too. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy week for me, but I love doing this stuff, man. I try to get on as many podcasts as I can when I can, but yeah, good times, man. Thank you guys for subscribing to Game Pass Daily. It is growing. I'm definitely seeing some uptick lately, so I'll try to make some more content for you guys to enjoy, and maybe I'll do some slanderous. Yeah, I'll do some slanderous shorts like I did with the Jason Voorhees thing where I had him slamming PlayStation against the tree. I don't know if anyone saw that, but
listen, at the end of the day, we love the work that you're doing. It's righteous, it's fun, it's engaging, it's welcoming, and that's what content's all about. And what you do on your own channel to keep us abreast with everything going on with Xbox Game Pass, folks. You should subscribe. And like I said, we're all about helping others, right? So what I'd like you to do with 500 people still here, trust me, and I would never sell you anything that I don't use myself. By all means, please subscribe to Retri here. Let's help him get past the 1K. It would be a really big deal for him personally and professionally, and would be a really big deal for me to help another content creator cross a very, very important finish line. So please, by all means, head over there on my request and subscribe, because you won't be sorry you did. And like I said, I would never sell you something that I don't use myself. I'm subscribed to his channel. Mrs. Boom is subscribed to his channel, and I watch it because it's good content, and I think that you will dig it for sure. So please head over there right now before you get on out and subscribe. And of course, I'm going to close out the show. First of all, let me say a big thank you to all super chats, because those are tremendous. They are incredible. We are incredibly grateful here at Double Barrel Gaming that they continue to come in, as well as the channel memberships that continue to support behind the scenes and allow us to do the big giveaways. We have 2 left of the year that are going to equate to $2,000 in 2 shows. One's $500 next week, Friday, Breakfast with Boom, Mrs. Boom's birthday bash, as we always have done. I think it's the 3rd annual, because we started that a little bit later. And of course, for the the Christmas holiday, or you celebrate Kwanzaa, or you celebrate Hanukkah, we're doing our 6th annual huge giveaway, and it's the most we've ever done in a 2-hour show. We're giving away $1,500 worth of prizes. That is 10 $100 gift cards and 2 $250 gift cards for the grand prizes. And all you got to do is be in the chat to win. And of course, if you are a channel member, the first half of those prizes are automatically doled out via the picker to them. So obviously, that's the one of the bonuses of becoming a channel member. You get first crack at all the prizes that we do, and the second half of the prizes, which would be 1 $250 and 5 $100 gift cards, will be for anyone that's left in the chat. Hopefully we have a big show that's going to be. We'll give more details as we get closer to the Christmas holiday. And of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught me when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.